Thank you, Ted. My name is Gary Maebe. I work as a Deputy District Attorney in Multnomah County. I've done that for the last 26 years. Currently, I supervise a trial unit of 12 lawyers. All we do is prosecute property crimes. That's it. That gives you some idea maybe how much property crime is going on in just Multnomah County, let alone Washington County. What Steve told you about the present system, frankly, I don't find a thing to disagree with. Everything he said about the present system is absolutely true. In fact, one of the last things he was talking about when he was describing the present system is where I want to begin, just to make sure everybody understands exactly how things work, because this is why voting yes on 57 is so important. Right now, when you commit your first identity theft, when you forge your first check, when you steal your first felony amount, you get put on probation. So there you are. You're on probation. You're supposed to be on your very best behavior. And then you do it again. You forge another check. You steal someone's credit card and use it at Macy's. And you get convicted again. Now you've been convicted of 2 felonies. What happens to you? You get put on probation. That's what the current law says is supposed to happen. You do it a 3rd time. What happens to you? You get put on probation. You do it a 4th time. What happens to you? You get put on probation. Now, this is not something I'm making up just to try and, get the crowd excited here. This is the way it works. The presumptive sentence for almost all property crimes on your 4th conviction is probation. No prison. You don't go to prison. Finally, when I or one of my 11 lawyers convicts somebody the 5th time, then we get to ask for prison. Doesn't mean they go to prison. The judge can still do what's called a downward departure, and at least in my county, that's a very common occurrence. They might do a little bit better here in Washington County. On that 5th conviction, the presumptive sentence is prison, but they can still go down to probation. That's the reason we have Measure 57, to fix that system. So what does Measure 57 do to fix that system? First offense, yes, we're going to let first offenders be on probation. People make mistakes. Young kids make mistakes. We are not going to send those folks to prison. But on your 2nd conviction, you go to prison, and the presumptive sentence is 18 months. Now, can they still get probation on that? Yes. But the other thing that Measure 57 does is these downward departures get tightened up. The judge can't just give a second offender, a second felony offender, probation for no good reason. It tightens up the rules. The judge has to make certain findings. Some of those people may get put on probation. The vast majority are going to go to prison. And on the 3rd conviction, we take away that latitude. If they got the downward departure on the 2nd conviction, on the 3rd conviction, they're going to go to prison. Now, we give them longer sentences than they presently get under the current system. Right now, even if they go to prison on these crimes, it's 13 months. We're going to change that and make it 18 and 24 months. Now, the reason that's a good idea is not just to punish. It's not just, well, 13 months is a horribly inadequate amount of time for someone that's stolen your credit card and ruined your credit rating. That's true, too. But the other reason we're going to do it, here's the funny little fact about Oregon's penitentiary system. These 13-month sentences aren't long enough. They're not long enough to get the drug treatment in prison that these people need. And even though they're not long enough, we're stuck with those sentences. And so we're going to raise it to 18 and 24 months because these people do need drug treatment. The vast majority of them, about 75, 85%, have a drug addiction problem. And the other thing that Measure 57 does is it treats that problem. It provides money for drug treatment in prison. So that's the other advantage of Measure 57. Now, the last thing I want to say is thank you to Measure 61. Thank you to Kevin Mannix. And the reason I say that is there is no doubt, but for Kevin Mannix and Measure 61, the legislature would have never put 57 on the ballot in its form right now. It is a very good measure, and the only reason it's a good measure is because the Oregon District Attorneys Association and others were able to make modifications and get things in there that will really help all of us. And the reason they had that leverage is because of Kevin Mannix and Measure 61. Thank you very much.